Check it out, y'all. Finally got myself a tape recorder, or tape deck thing. It lets me plug it into the computer and start digitizing these, which I've started doing because I'm going to be posting these on my Patreon. This first one that I started was from Kate Carney's Cottage. It was a great Irish pub in New York, Midtown Manhattan, and this was August 8th, 1997. There were some absolute legends there. It was a great spot that I used to go to every Wednesday night for the sessions. And the first track that I started listening to, well, not quite the first one of the first sets of tunes that I was listening to on here, I had this tune called Trip to Durrow, which was one that I used to play all the time. I played it a lot. I think I played it with my old band. And I kind of forgot about it. It just sort of fell off my radar. But it's a great tune. It's a little weird because the structure of it is not kind of your basic AABB. It's a three-part tune and it's a little strange, which we'll get to when we break it down. Here's the full tune, up-tempo, with the ornaments, all that good stuff, and then we'll talk about some of the details. So did you catch it how it was a little unusual? This tune is set up AA, BC, BC. Kind of strange. I'm not sure how it ended up that way, but it's neat. It makes it somewhat unique. You know, it's not a very common structure. So that's how we're going to play it. That's how it's just done. If you want to hear this tune more in context of the session, stick around to the end of the video because I'm going to play it at the end. I'm going to start posting a lot of this stuff to my Patreon, though. There's already some sheet music and tabs for all these tunes, plus some kind of behind-the-scenes video stuff. But I'm going to make that be the place where I store all these. If you're interested, check it out. Links down below. Here's the basic melody, starting with the A part, of course. That's the first half of the A part. Hopefully you notice that there's a couple of arpeggios in there. That's a pretty common theme with this tune, as it is with a lot of tunes, I suppose, really, but there's just D major arpeggio. Hopefully you're working on those as exercises and running those and brushing up on them, because it's a pretty common phrase. Here's the second half. So really just the end of that last bar. That's really the only thing that's different. It finishes on the D as opposed to finishing on the E. Fairly common, I suppose, as well. Here's the second part, jumps up to that high D. Did you catch there's arpeggios in that as well? In that part, it's an E minor arpeggio. E G, B. Yeah, E, G, B. So again, another good reason to work on those arpeggios. Here's the second half of the B part. There again, the end of that tune, or end of that part rather, finishes the same way as the end of the A part, just an octave higher. Hopefully that helps. Here's the C part. Starts on that high F sharp. and then it finishes basically the same way that the A part finishes. So you've already got this, hopefully. Here's how that goes. And that's the whole thing. I'll play the whole tune all the way through in sequence. Again, A, A, B, C, B, C. Play along, hopefully you can hang. How'd you do? Did you make it through that? It's a lot of notes, but it's sort of fairly repetitive, I think. At least some of those sections you can kind of copy and paste from previous ones if you're getting a good hang of it. So, ornaments, let's start off the bat with the cran on D. Now, you don't have to do that, but you have a nice long note there. Not much else to do. You could just do a simple cut, which works, but the cran is kind of cool. And in fact, I'll do a cran and an extra cut, just because there's technically 4/8 notes there. For the arpeggios, I don't really do anything. A little bit of tonguing there to separate it and give it that kind of groove, but I don't really put any ornaments on that. I do when I get up high. As I go D, F sharp, E, I've demonstrated that move a few times. F sharp to E, I'll pop that top finger off. And it's got to be kind of quick because you don't want it to make to disrupt the rhythm, really. It's a pretty short accent. When I hit that roll on B, you could just hit it. Nothing wrong with that. What I'll do, and maybe you caught that when I played it the first time up tempo, is I kind of drag the E below it. That's one of those things that I just kind of like. I think it adds a cool effect. It's also easy to screw up your rhythm if you do it in the wrong way. So take that under advisement. If you want to, you could also just slide that. Sliding into a roll, perfectly cool way to do it too. Then on those B to A transitions, same kind of thing that I did for the F sharp to E. As I go from B to A, popping that top finger off. Same move exactly, just other hand. Now that phrase, since it repeats, I'll run through that one. As I go from, let's see, yeah, so E, F sharp, and I'll cut that note, but I also do a tonguing movement to give it a real solid stop before I hit that. A definite dead stop. Hang tight. Clear that out. It's dripping all over the place. And then I'll also hit a triple roll on the E. A regular roll works, a tap would work, a lot of different things, but that triple roll is cool, and you don't get to use it that many places, so when a place comes up, I'll do it. And the move is, and it's these two cuts followed by a tap. That's one which may or may not work depending on the type of whistle you have. Sometimes cutting with this top finger causes some strange side effects, so again, take that under advisement as well. And then cutting that bottom D, could cran the bottom D, I did that a few times too. All the same there as I would do in the first part. And the same sort of popping noise that you can do in the B to the A transition. Could do that same, I don't know what we call that here, where we're kind of accidentally hitting the note below it, crossing noise. Same thing down there. And double tap the F sharp to finish that phrase. That's one where it's a bit different from the first time through. And I'll do that same thing where I'll cut, but I'll tongue before the cut to give it a good solid stop. Dead stop, right? And then double tap the F sharp to finish the phrase. Now when I jump up to the B part, we're finishing the A part on the bottom D. Got to jump all the way up to the top octave. You could just go. Nothing wrong with that, but I usually like to do a triplet. Any chance I get, I'll work that in there because it's sort of unique to the instrument. So, and then a big roll on the F sharp. It's a good solid spot to do that, nice long note. And I'll slide into it sometimes, like we've been talking about so far, combining ornaments. Whether it's a tonguing followed by an ornament or sliding followed by an ornament. You start combining this stuff and you get a lot more options that way. So, cutting that top note, that's a trick that I've demonstrated and discussed several times. Hitting the top note in the phrase, adding that little extra punch to it. Double tap on the F sharp coming back down the scale. Same thing there with the triplet. And there I kind of break the rule. Yeah, rather than cutting that top B, in that phrase I'll cut the G, the middle note of the phrase. Not really sure why, it just sounds like it works better to me. So here we go again. And then after I cut the last one, coming back to that F sharp, I'll double tap that. Now, that phrase, to finish up the B part, you could cut that top B. If you do, that's one where you got to have a lot of confidence in the whistle to make sure that it's not going to break, because it's an easy one to break. And then to jump back into the C part now, we're hitting that long roll on an F sharp. No, we're cutting that F sharp, sorry. Rolling on the B. And that's the same move before where I'm dragging the A, which you don't have to do. You could slide into it or just go right into the roll. Same popping noise that I did in the A part. That's the same as the A part. Same ornaments there, same kind of options that you would have as you're playing it on the A part. That's how I do it. Let me know what you think of this tune. It is weird, just the arrangement of it is a little odd because it's AABBCC. Not too many tunes like that I'm aware of anyway. Yeah, let me know what you guys think, and let's roll the tape. Cheers, guys. See you all on the next one.